And now we're going to tackle the second portion, I should say, of the second homework set here. So for this one, again, I just want you to complete transactions in general journal format, and I gave you a chart of accounts to work with here. In other words, so that you don't have to like be inventive and come up like, well, what are the names I should use here? Because that's how it's going to work in reality. You're not going to be asked to come up with an account name. You're going to be given a chart of accounts, and you'll just derive your answers from that. So that's how it'll work for this exercise, and of course that's how it will work for the project when you eventually tackle that. The project is everything is referenced to a chart of accounts, so you don't have to come up with anything on your own. Right, so this first slide just covers the first 5, and then the second slide will cover the next 5. All right, so part A covers, again, Gordon Consultants, Inc. CGI accepts $100,000 cash plus an automobile with a fair market value of $25,000 from Barbara Gordon in exchange for 10,000 shares of CGI stock. This should sound somewhat similar to what I did in the last one, because again, the other one I believe was everything was in that accounting equation form, and I pretty much took the same examples and just converted them to general journal form. So you'll feel, if it feels like it's similar, it is, and that's just the way I designed it. And so this will look like so. So again, because they're taking cash, so cash should be debited for 100. And again, automobiles came into the business with a fair market value of 25, so we'll book them for 25. And of course, the offset will be just to increase common stock by 125. So everything balances out. And remember, if you have debits equal to credits, what's also true, all aspects of the accounting equation also are equal as well. You don't even have to think about it. It takes care of itself on its own. To keep the experience real, I'm drinking a soda while I'm doing this. So I don't normally drink sodas in class anymore when I'm in class, but I've switched a little bit here. It's just you have to shake things up, I guess, in the current situation that we find ourselves in, such as picking up old habits that we got rid of, like drinking soda pop. Oh well. Anyways, B, CGI is going to pay rent for the current month. Now in this case, because you're only paying for the current month, we'll just directly expense that. So rent expense, debit, cash, credit. Now if we were paying for a number of months, right? If we were paying for the next 2 or 3 months, it'd be more customary to do what? To put it in prepaid rent. So we would come up with a current asset account for that designation. But in this case, it's just for the current period, it's okay to just immediately expense it. Although some businesses actually might do a hybrid transaction, which would also be equally valid. In other words, let's say you're paying for the next 3 months, $2,000 a month. You could book it like so: rent expense $2,000 for the current period, because you know you're going to end up, it's going to be expense by the end of the period anyways. You know that instinctively. But the other $4,000 is applicable to the next 2 months, so you could book that in prepaid rent. So you'd have rent expense debit for the 2, prepaid rent for 4, and then a cash credit for the whole 6. So that would also be acceptable. So again, some of these things take on a little bit of a different shape when you drag them out into reality. So just letting you know on that one. I sometimes bring it up, sometimes I don't. It just depends on, because it just depends on when the moment strikes me on that. So again, I'm giving you the classroom experience as you would get it in its full glory, such as moments like that. All right, so C. GCI is going to buy computers for the staff, $10,000. Straightforward here, just computers debit and then cash credit for the 10. Nothing else more to that one. Now D is going to be completed consulting jobs for 3 clients who paid cash. I don't know why that was actually working like. I didn't know that. I didn't know I could do that. Scroll. Where did that come from? That's new. The mystery continues of how to use a whiteboard. Although it ends soon because they're actually closing this down, like in the middle of July. Oh well. That's why you won't see any of these videos from me if there's a date you can associate. You'll see none of them later than the beginning of July. That's the last time we'll be cutting any of them, because they're going to shut this aspect down, though. Although I do kind of like the tool, even with its quirks. Anyways, D, onward. Completed consulting jobs for 3 clients who paid cash. I could have just said completed consulting jobs for 3 clients, $12,000, same transaction. I really don't have to mention the cash part there. It's one of those things usually in the more like in introductory chapters that is customary. They'll just mention that portion, but if it's not mentioned, it's implied. Completed consulting jobs for 3 clients, $12,000. You assume that they did what? They paid cash because it's silent on the matter. There's nothing else to assume there. So cash debit, Visa and credit as a consequence of that. Now here, completed consulting jobs for 5 clients who were billed. Again, that's the more realistic way. Or we could have said 5 clients on account or on credit, $20,000. Get you to the same place. So that should be, again, I'll use that little scroll that I just discovered. I didn't even know that was there. Purely an accident just now. So that would be accounts receivable debit, because again, they were billed, it was on account or on credit, so they're going to pay later. And then the offsetting credit there should be to fees earned. So debit AR, credit fees earned for $20,000. Right, next slide up here. There we go. This continues the remaining 5 transactions. So purchase another automobile for the staff, $5,000 down, balance of $25,000 on credit, due in 12 months. Again, so the total cost of the automobile here should be $30,000. Debited to automobiles, plural. Cash should be credited for 5, and the difference there should go to some sort of payable. Again, more realistically, it'd probably be notes payable. Probably be a long-term note we'd be looking at, something that's due over the next 4 or 5 years, for example. So, but just just to kind of keep the noise down, just dump it in AP in this example. That's fine. Right, paid wage, staff wages for the month for G, $9,000. So again, simplifying factor until we get to the stuff about payroll taxes is just going to be wages, expense, debit, and then it will be equal amount of cash that would be credited for now. H, collected partial payment from clients in E. So again, remember that one was for $20,000 here that we had. Oops, wrong thing to underline. There we go, in AR. So $7,500 of that's being paid to us. So if you just say collected cash from clients on account, that's another thing I could say. Again, in this case, I specifically referred to the AR in a previous transaction, but again, you might also see, cash paid in from clients or collected cash from clients on account, $7,500. So that on account or on credit means it should look like this. In other words, here's the cash debit. We have more cash, but the offset should be to accounts receivable that's credited. Again, do not record revenue twice. You only earn it once. You only get paid once. That's the way you should think of that. I is we're going to make a partial payment on the automobile from F. So in this case, you could say paid on account or on credit $5,000. That means on accounts payable in this context. That would be accounts payable needs to be reduced, so debit that, and then credit cash for 5. And then lastly, we're going to pay that $3,000 dividend to Barbara Gordon. So that should just be dividends debit, cash credit, or the $3,000. Again, here, the purpose of all this is just the repetition so that you get used to using those normal balance rules. And again, the repetition reinforces those normal balance rules. So that's the purpose of these exercises. And as always, feel free to use the additional resources that the tutoring center provides, because they give you a whole lot more of this stuff. So if you feel like you need more repetition here, you're going to get it with that. So again, I try to give you as many resources as possible so that you have that at your disposal and can hone your skills, so to speak. All right, so that's going to conclude the second video in the Homework 2 series. So look for the next installment, third installment, coming up soon. See you there.